Hi, I'm Bita from Balance Wellness, and this is our tip of the day. It is a hobo tip, which means it's a money-saving tip that no one's going to know that you didn't spend a lot of money, but you're still offering your guest or yourself something awesome. So what we're going to do is we have this platter of roasted kabocha squash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a grapefruit spoon, which is a really handy gadget. It's not just for grapefruit, it's for a lot of things. And in this instance, I'm going to scrape the squash off the skin. So I'm just going to go like so, getting in there with the groove of the spoon to remove the squash. And then you're left with the squash skin, which most people would think is just total refuse. It's not. What we're going to do is we're going to keep on scooping all the flesh out, and we're going to make a wonderful hobo-style squash tip, which you can use for your next cocktail party or just when you're lazing on the couch watching TV. And this is really high in a lot of vitamins. It's got a good amount of fiber, and you're doing the planet a favor because you're eating something that most people would just throw in the trash. And where everything you eat uses a certain amount of energy and water to produce, so you want to be conscious of that in all your choices. It's okay to leave a little bit of the orange on there too. You'll get a little more of a meatier chip. And now what we're going to do is we're going to season these and put them on a baking sheet for 400 degrees for about 15 minutes until they're nice and crispy. So here we have all of our squash skin laid out nicely on our oiled piece of parchment paper, olive oil. I've already taken the liberty of sprinkling it with a little bit of this Maldon sea salt that we used earlier when we first roasted the squash. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a sweet version. We're going to do a cinnamon sugar. I have a nice organic brown sugar right here and just a basic cinnamon powder. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put olive oil again on top so my cinnamon and my sugar stick to my end product. So another drizzle of this to get the squash chips nice and crispy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this brown sugar on top of the squash, just rubbing it with my fingers because it tends to be a little moist due to the molasses content. That's why brown sugar gets clumpy, because of molasses. Another good tip is that you can take a piece of terracotta. It can even be part of an old terracotta planting pot, and you can put that little wedge inside of your brown sugar jar, and it will keep your sugar nice and clump free. So here we are, just lightly sprinkling it. I'm not a huge fan of just, cloyingly sweet food, and I also don't think it's really a healthy thing for most people to be eating, or actually everybody. Nobody should be eating a lot of sugar. So there we go, very light amount of brown sugar. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cinnamon, and I'm going to use this little strainer, almost like confectionery sugar, over the top of it. Okay. And let's just make sure they're evenly coated on each side. I get a double cinnamon chip on the front and the back. And then this is going to be put into a 400 Fahrenheit oven, same temperature we utilized when we first baked the squash, for about 15-20 minutes or so until it gets nice and crispy. And then when they're ready, you can serve them warm or you can serve them room temperature, and this would be a really, really nice snack to go with a nice pumpkin beer this time of year, or maybe a nice warm mug of tea. Whatever you truly fancy, you can have this with. People are going to eat this up, or you'll eat this up. Either way. And here we have it. This is what the squash looks like before it goes into the oven, and it's going to be popped out in the oven, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's been 15 minutes, and our squash chips have now come out of the oven, and they are ready. And they're looking really good. They're nice and crispy. And it looks like it's really not that much, but like I said before, this is something that someone would have just thrown in the garbage. And this is a snack. This is, it's food, sustenance, So this is, like I said, a cinnamon sugar version. It has cinnamon and sugar. You can do paprika, cumin, parsley, anything. A curry chip would actually really be cool as well. But this is our little sweet chip, and it's wonderful. It's got lots of fiber in it. It's a nice, gentle sweet for someone who maybe can't have sugar or shouldn't have sugar. So this is a really nice way to have something sweet without really hurting yourself. So I hope you enjoy it.